Against Tottenham, and it is Chelsea who will kick off at a noisy Stamford Bridge. The weather is chilly but dry. The referee is Andre Mariner, and we are underway with Chelsea struggling for form at the moment. Tottenham are unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League away games. They haven't lost since they were thrashed at Manchester City back in December. But they are up against a team, Chelsea, who have more Premier League points against Spurs, 100, more Premier League wins against Spurs, 27, and more Premier League goals against Tottenham Hotspur, 94, than against any other club. Those are quite interesting statistics, but I suppose history's history. As Davinson Sanchez heads forward, it's chased by Eric Lamela, who's just penalised for a foul on Antonio Rudiger. The team news is that Chelsea are without Thibaut Courtois today. He's still injured, so Willy Caballero is in goal. It's Alvaro Morata for Pedro up front and Cesc Fabregas for Timoe Bakayoko in midfield. Tottenham unchanged from their last Premier League game. Here is Hazard coming through midfield. Chelsea have Willy Caballero in goal. The back three is Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger. Across midfield, Victor Moses, N'Golo Kante and Cesc Fabregas and Marcos Alonso. Up front, Willian, Alvaro Morata and Eden Hazard for Spurs. Hugo Lloris in goal. The back four is Kieran Trippier, Davinson Sanchez, Jan Vertonghen and Ben Davies. In front of them, Moussa Dembele and Eric Dyer. And the attacking front four, Eric Lamela, Christian Eriksen and Dele Alli. Leading the line is Son Heung-min. Any early signs of anything notable for you, Kev? It's been a fairly cautious start, although Tottenham seem keen to try and get on the front foot. Trippier playing a ball forward, Lamela finding Son. I'll bring Kevin in just a moment. Lonzo's just broken up that attack and he goes out for a throw.
Yeah, a cautious start from both sides, isn't it? I think they'll feel each other out for a while here. 2 minutes on the clock. Formations as you'd expect. 3-4-3 from Chelsea. Hazard just playing off this left-hand side. Willian off the right. Morata down the middle of the pitch. Spurs. Son playing up top as you'd expect. Lamela on the right. Eriksen playing off the left. Dele Alli just in that number 10 role.
Long ball forward for Chelsea, up towards Morata, only half cleared by Vertonghen, so the Spaniard has it and plays the ball into the Chelsea area. It takes a deflection, but Hugo Lloris, wearing all yellow today, comes out to gather it before it goes away for a corner and rolls the ball back into play. Neither of these two teams have very good recent records against other members of the Premier League's Big Six. Chelsea only 1 win in 7. That was against Manchester United in November. And Tottenham also struggle when up against their peer group. Here's Marcos Alonso forward to Hazard, who's stopped in his tracks by Eric Lamela, who gets a boot in to clear the ball.
I think it's really important this afternoon for Chelsea, John, that Moses and Alonso get forward, and they get forward well, because although Chelsea are playing a front three in Willian, Hazard and Morata, Willian and Hazard both play very narrow, almost like inside forwards, which means they're going to need some width from somewhere, and I think that will come from Moses.
Here's Son with a back flick. Sorry, Kevin, as Eric Lamela picks up the ball in midfield, still wearing gloves. Dembele just looks around him and finds Ben Davies over on the left-hand side. Davies, the Tottenham left back, making his 150th Premier League appearance today. Willian pokes it back to Azpilicueta, who finds Victor Moses. Moses forward, intercepted by Vertonghen. Back it goes to Hugo Lloris, who finds Davinson Sanchez. Victor Moses, meanwhile, is still prostrate on the deck. He was a scorer for Chelsea against Tottenham in a 2-1 win here last season.
He seems hurt, doesn't he?
Yes.
I think as Pilaqueta rolls in the ball. Oh, and it's just Dembele. It's unintentional. But as Moses clears the ball, he jumps and actually tries to step past him. He steps on his shoulder by the looks of it.
He's got the heel and his studs into Moses' shoulder, so completely accidental, as you rightly point out. But Victor Moses is receiving treatment here. And let's hope that's not an early blow for Chelsea. We've only had 5 minutes. Moses has he's had an incredible career at Chelsea, hasn't he, really? He was hopping around loan to loan to loan, and then he came here and he's been reinvented as the sort of right side of a midfield four, sort of half fullback, half wing-back, and he's been fantastic.
He's been outstanding on the real threat. He's learnt how to defend. He's diligent running backwards and possesses very good quality going forwards. So fair play to Chelsea and the management staff for changing formations and falling into it, because he's certainly been one of their outstanding performers for a while now.
Well, Tottenham have it on the far side, and Conte's not only fit and running again, he's crunching into tackles as well on that far side, and Chelsea have won it back in midfield with N'Golo Kante finding Moses wearing bright orange boots. It's not a very good delivery from out wide by him with his left foot. It just takes a bounce into the area and is gathered by Hugo Lloris. Dyer plays it forward to Moussa Dembele for Tottenham Hotspur. Dembele just about manages to manoeuvre the ball past Fabregas and finds Sanchez. Here's Kieran Trippier, who started both of England's recent friendlies and looks to me as if he could be the man to start in the World Cup at right back for Gareth Southgate's men. World Cup, of course, we're now in April, just a couple of months away. But we've got the Premier League to sort out first, and both of these sides desperate to end up with a position to take them into the Champions League next season. The ball is played towards Lamela. Alonso can't get there. Lamela does, but then slides in and collides with the corner flag with such force that the corner flag pole looks as if it's got bent. I don't know whether the assistant referee is going to be able to put it back into an upright position. It's a throw into Chelsea with Marcos Alonso, who got both goals, of course, in the 2-1 win back in August, which Chelsea inflicted on Tottenham at Wembley Stadium, and it's the only away defeat Tottenham have suffered all season. Alonso, in doing so, became the first club player to score at Wembley Stadium, and at that time Tottenham looked as if that might be a problem at home, but they've sorted it out since then. Here's Trippier into the box, and it's a flying header away by Andreas Christensen, the big Danish defender who was a doubt for this one, but is fit enough to play and has made a very, very good intervention there.
Good interplay already. Dembele getting hold of that midfield area. Lovely little ball out to Trippier, and we know he's got great quality. Cross comes in, good defensive header, but it's an early Tottenham corner. First
of the game on 8 minutes. Christian Eriksen, who can deliver so beautifully with that right foot, will take an out swinger. It's not a very good one. It's gone straight to Victor Moses, who heads it up. Eriksen nods it back in towards the edge of the penalty area, where it's half cleared, and there's a swinging shot on the turn by Jan Vertonghen, but it was mishit really by the Belgian centre half, and it just dribbled a long way wide. It is, however, the first attempt on goal of the match.
I think if that was on his left foot, you might have seen a slightly different story, but you could see that was his swinger, as they call it. Didn't look comfortable at all on the turn there, and harmlessly dribbled wide of the Chelsea goal, but it's Tottenham that are doing the early pressing there at the moment.
Well, header away by Vertonghen in more familiar territory there. Finds Son Heung-min, who's been in such outstanding form. Got 2 in the last Premier League game, a 4-1 win against Bournemouth. Here's Eden Hazard finding Willian. Bit of space potentially for Willian. Cuts in, tries to shoot, and the shot is blocked and then cleared by Tottenham Hotspur. Willian will be a danger man for Chelsea. He's got 5 goals in his last 7 games, so not quite as prolific as Son, but not far behind. And he's scored some pretty spectacular goals this season as well. Antonio Conte prowling the touchline with his hands in his pockets. Black scarf wrapped around his neck. as Kieran Trippier plays the ball down the line towards Son Heung-min, who's just about managed to keep the ball in play. He's also managed to keep his feet under pressure from Rudiger. He just rolls it back to Kieran Trippier. Trippier on his right foot looking to cross, instead finding Son with a short pass, and then Eriksen, and then Trippier, and then Eriksen again. This is good play by Spurs. Great cross! And it was towards Dele Alli, and Dele Alli couldn't quite get ahead on it because of the attentions of a Chelsea defender. It was lovely interplay by Tottenham, really neat passing. Eriksen, as you'd expect, with a wonderful cross, and the attention of Moses managed to force Dele Alli into putting it wide.
Oh, it was fantastic play, wasn't it?
Yep.
Out on this right-hand side, Eriksen, Trippier, Son, what a ball in it was from Eriksen. Lovely driven ball, and as you say, Moses and Azpilicueta between them somehow managed to do enough to put Dele Alli off. But great play from Spurs, already shifting the ball with a purpose, moving it quickly. You see their interplay when they get up and around that final third is real top quality stuff.
Yeah, they've been the better team in the opening 10 minutes. We just treated to a wonderful piece of first-time control by Maurizio Pochettino, actually, as the ball was hoofed out by Chelsea. It came to him in the dugout, and he just completely cushioned it and killed it with his right. But incidentally, this is Pochettino's 145th Premier League game in charge of Tottenham Hotspur. That is the most in the Premier League, beating Harry Redknapp's previous record. Here's Eric Dyer in centre midfield for Spurs, probing and pushing and certainly looking more likely to open the scoring than Chelsea. Here's Eriksen finding Lamela, tries the 1-2 with Son. It doesn't come off, and the ball just goes through. Tottenham Hotspur have scored in all of their last 28 games in all competition. That's their longest run since 1987. It's not a game, you suspect, Kevin, that you would imagine is going to end goalless.
No, you wouldn't. And I thought at the start that with what was on offer and the points situation, that Chelsea would have a real go, and it'll be Tottenham playing on the counter-attack. But at the moment, it's Tottenham with all the possession and Chelsea sitting back and saying, come on then, what you got? I'm not so sure that's the best way forward for them.
Willian's just been caught offside, so it's a free kick to Spurs. We've had 12 minutes. Both of these clubs have a massive April in front of them, both out of the Champions League, of course. Tottenham beaten by Juventus and Chelsea by Barcelona. No great shame in that, because they've been knocked out by two great clubs. Son can't control it. It's knocked away by Christensen. Tottenham face Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final. Slightly controversial, of course, in the sense that Tottenham will technically be at home, even though they are the away team, the way the draw is. I think Chelsea will be happier with the draw than Tottenham, won't they, in the FA Cup? Chelsea have Southampton.
Oh, absolutely.
They haven't met in a cup final since 1967, when Tottenham Hotspur won 2-1. The reason I know that is the first one I can ever remember watching. Yes, I am that old. Here's N'Golo Kante. The ball just toe poked away from him by Kieran Trippier. It's gone out of play on the near side. Here's Dembele, pinched off him by Hazard. Lovely little flick by him to Morata. Morata switches the play across to Victor Moses on the far side. Moses just rolls it back into Azpilicueta, who finds Fabregas. Now Antonio Rudiger on halfway for Chelsea, who haven't really launched anything resembling an attack, but that's a good ball out towards Moses. It would have been, but Moses has completely miscontrolled it, and it's gone out of play. And a chance for a Chelsea attack has fizzled out. Do get in touch with us via Twitter at TalkSport Live if you want to have your say. Throw into Tottenham. Davis finds Dele Alli, whose header is repelled by Azpilicueta. It's a bit scrappy at the moment. Davinson Sanchez gets it up, beautifully controlled by Lamela. That was lovely skill by the Argentinian, who finds Sanchez. Sanchez, who's had a great first season in English football, having joined as a youngster from Ajax. Rolls it back to Hugo Lloris.
Eric Lamela has started really brightly for Spurs.
Here he is again, and he's been penalised for backing into Andreas Christensen, who's gone down holding his face. Andre Mariner's having a word with Eric Lamela. I mean, when it was obvious that Harry Kane was not going to be in the team, I suppose there was a debate about whether it would be Llorente or Lamela that would replace him, and Lamela certainly has got Pochettino's vote, and as you say, he's played very well.
Yeah, he has, yeah. And I think because of the shape of the team as well, it was always going to favour Lamela, but I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he has started really well, really brightly, looking after the ball in tight areas.
Oh, we're a long ball forward towards Hazard for Chelsea. Might break for Morata. Morata trying to cut it back, but he's cut it back straight into the possession of Kieran Trippier. He gets it upfield towards Ali. Ali's first time ball is inaccurate, and Chelsea have it again with Marcos Alonso. But Spurs have won it back. Ali to Dyer. As soon as you say that, the possession is just pinging between both teams at the moment. The Spurs have it now with Ali. Was he tripped by Kante? The referee's going to let play on because Eriksen's in a forward position and finds Lamela. Lamela manages to ride a challenge from Alonso. Alonso claims he was hit by the arm of Lamela there. Nothing given. Here's Son Heung-min. And now Trippier. Tottenham looking lively again, particularly down that right-hand side. Eric Dyer square to Moussa Dembele. Come on, you Spurs, is the cry from the visiting fans, who are certainly heartened by what they've seen in the first 16 minutes. Here's Lamela. Ali. Overhit pass square towards Son. And the attack breaks down, but it's Tottenham showing the creativity, the purpose and the intent at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think there was just a case of overplaying in and around the Chelsea box. I think Lamela, once he'd broke that midfield line of Chelsea, could have got his shot off, but it most certainly is a really bright start from the Lily Whites.
They haven't tested Caballero yet. He's had quite a week, the 36-year-old. He came on for his debut for Argentina and kept a clean sheet in the 2-0 win against Italy at the Etihad Stadium, but of course they then suffered a 6-1 defeat against Spain, although Caballero wasn't playing in that one. It was Sergio Romero, the Manchester United keeper. So Caballero at the age of 36 has become a debutant international. Here's Dele Alli, who appeared for England, but only as a substitute in the international break.
Dele Alli's taken up some wonderful positions here. The midfield can't mark him, which is leaving Dembele a lot of space.
He's found Davis Dembele. Davis's cross is pushed away by Azpilicueta. Willian with a lovely touch, and then a really good 1-2 with Fabregas. Willian forward towards Morata. This is very good from Chelsea. And here's Hazard into the box. Sanchez trying to get a foot in, but he's succeeded, Sanchez, in pushing Hazard away from goal, but he still has possession as he finds Willian inside the box. Willian shoots, it deflects. Good save by Hugo Lloris. Palmed away to his right-hand side. It's kept alive by Marcos Alonso, who crosses it towards Morata. It's headed away by Dembele. This is a good spell from Chelsea. Willian has it now and finds Victor Moses. Moses looking to attack Ben Davis. Davis blocks the initial cross. Comes back to Moses, who finds Willian again. Willian to Fabregas. Good play this by Chelsea. Cross by Moses. Cleared by Lamela. And then N'Golo Kante trying to keep the pressure on for the Blues at the moment, who are pushing and probing as Kante gets the ball in again. Alonso's there and side foots into the net. Well, I'm not sure it's going to count. It's offside. It was a lovely cross in, and Alonso connected well. He cushioned his side foot volley beautifully, but he was in an offside position when the cross came in from N'Golo Kante. Well, I'm not sure he's offside there, because I think Davinson Sanchez was playing him on. I think he was at least level. It would have been one, I think, that VAR, if we had it, would have been perhaps brought into play. But I think Chelsea are unfortunate there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think his left leg maybe, and these days that's enough. Benefit of the doubt lies with a defender. I think it should lie with a forward. But a great couple of minutes for Chelsea. Their first real good moments of the game. Yeah,
and the first time a keeper's been brought into action. Good save by Lloris from the shot by Willian. Here's Dele Alli, who's gone down and right in front of some of the Chelsea fans, who of course will accuse him of diving. I'm not sure he did, but let's have a look. Kante. Well, he's caught him, hasn't he? I don't think Dele Alli can be accused of any kind of...
It's a free kick, but going back to the chance the other end, wonderful save from Lloris. Real good play from Chelsea. Counter-attacking football at its best. Lots of pace and a good spell.
Here's Eriksson with the subsequent free kick for Tottenham Hotspur. 20 minutes gone at Stamford Bridge. It's flown past, hasn't it? Eriksson will deliver with that right foot, looking to whip it in towards the danger area. Plenty of white shirts for him to aim at. Very well delivered cross, also an extremely good header away for Chelsea. Davinson Sanchez with an up and under to find Ali. It's headed away from him by Christensen, but the ball has gone out of play. I'm trying to work out what this tweet is. It's from someone called Raf Gunner, who says Harry Kane on the bench, unbelievable, waiting for him to come on and bang in the goals for Spurs. It's Easter, so don't be surprised to find an Arsenal fan support. It's Spurs. I think he means it's April Fool's Day, but you're in Accra, Ghana. I'm a little bit confused by the message. I think you're trying to have a go at Tottenham Hotspur. But anyway, we've got some Nigerians supporting Moses as well. And Tim is listening to us in Philadelphia, a Tottenham fan. Keep them coming. We'll do our best to read them out for you. We're being accused by somebody of being, like the BBC, anti-Manchester United. I'm not sure what we've done to suggest that we're anti-Manchester United, but we're certainly not. Anyway, here's Kieran Trippier. Infield to Eric Dyer. To Davinson Sanchez. Centre midfield is Moussa Dembele. Dembele to Son. Son gets in a bit of a tangle and loses it out to Christensen. Alonso, who's had a goal disallowed, drives the ball forward left-footed. It takes a bounce and goes out of play. Tottenham Hotspur looking for a fifth successive Premier League win, having beaten Bournemouth, Huddersfield, Manchester United and Arsenal. So in great form, as we mentioned, the only team in the Premier League who've yet to be beaten this calendar year. Chelsea wish they could boast such a record, but they've suffered 4 defeats in their last 6 games. Here's Vertonghen for Spurs. Davies first time forward. Good tackle by Azpilicueta, and then Fabregas does well to find Kante. Kante chips it in towards Hazard. Hazard off balance, can't bring the ball down properly, and it's cleared by Dyer. And then Trippier rolls it forward for Spurs. Eriksson to Lamela. Great ball by Lamela, but I don't think Son quite expected it. And as he looked around, he was unable to get a foot on it. And Chelsea will survive that particular Spurs attack as Marcos Alonso, the 2-goal hero from Wembley, as Chelsea were concerned back in August, plays it back to Willy Caballero, the former Manchester City goalkeeper, dressed all in orange today with that bald head. Up and under from Trippier, and Dele Alli beaten in the air by Christensen. Kante out to Moses. Moses to Willian. Willian trying to find Morata. Sanchez in the way. The ball won't come down at the moment. They're playing almost like heading volleyball at the moment. It's still in the air. Dele Alli finally brings it down to earth and is challenged by Kante. He's done well to get away from Kante and from Moses. Dele Alli, tigerish play by him. It's come to Lamela. Lamela wanted to shoot, I think, initially, not enough room. Finds Ali. Lamela again into the box. Scuffed clearance by Christensen is high rather than long. Chelsea survive though as the ball falls at the feet of Eden Hazard, who finds Marcos Alonso. And we've had 24 minutes. Harry Kane is jogging along wearing a fluorescent green bib and getting plenty of support from the Tottenham Hotspur fans. 35 goals in 36 games for him this season. Here's Dele Alli finding Eriksson into the box. Eriksson's cross is deflected off Azpilicueta, and that is going to be a corner to Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, Chelsea looking for a foul on the halfway line there. Mariner just said to Willian, get up, not a foul. Spurs break, get a corner. Entertaining game this now, end-to-end stuff.
It certainly is. Corner to Spurs. 25 minutes gone. It's been a compelling London derby so far. There's a little debate going on between Lamela and Eriksson. Well, it looks as if Eriksson was going to take the corner, but Lamela is going to take it instead, unless they're going to go short. It is Lamela with an outswinger, and I think maybe Eriksson should have taken it, but it's come out to Trippier, who tries his luck from 20 yards. He was just slipping and leaning backwards as he hit the ball. He got his foot right under it, and in the end it was nowhere near the target.
Yeah, not a bad first touch, but skiddy surface just took it away from him, and he was always lunging to get after it and sends it skywards to the Chelsea fans behind the goal. But it's a real good, intriguing game this now. Chelsea have finally got to grips with Tottenham all over the pitch. They're giving as good as they get now. It's turned into an even contest.
Yeah. Caballero with the clearance for Chelsea. Up towards Alonso. It just gets a flick off Eric Dyer, and we throw into Chelsea 5 yards in from the halfway line, right in front of Mauricio Pochettino, the Tottenham Hotspur manager. Christensen has it for Chelsea on the edge of his penalty area, plays it across to Cesar Azpilicueta, whose through ball is blocked by Davis, quickly taken throw by Moses. Morata with a clever back heel, doesn't reach Willian though, and Spurs have it with Davinson Sanchez finding Vertonghen. Here's Trippier, and he's in a battle with Hazard at the moment, trying to squeeze the ball through, but Kante's won it back for Chelsea, and Fabregas tries to find Morata, and Sanchez does well to get a foot in to make sure that doesn't happen. It's Marcos Alonso though for Chelsea, finding Eden Hazard, who got that goal 2 years ago that broke Tottenham hearts and gave the title to Leicester City, triggering the famous footage of the Leicester players in Jamie Vardy's kitchen celebrating like mad. It seems a long time ago. Chelsea, of course, won the title themselves last season under Antonio Conte, but haven't looked remotely like repeating that. It's another rather disappointing title defence for them, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's Willian finding Kante, who of course was part of that Leicester City celebration party, and has won 2 titles in 2 seasons with different clubs, something only 2 other players have ever achieved in English football. Ball out of play via Eric Dyer. It's just gone a little bit quiet and slightly less frenetic in the last 5 minutes. That's certainly in terms of the players, not necessarily in terms of the fans who are trying to lift their team. Caballero with a sweep forward to Antonio Rudiger, who finds Kante, and back it goes to Caballero again. He wants to take a touch and play it short, and he almost got caught in possession there by Dele Alli, and Spurs have the ball, but it's given away by Dembele. Here's Fabregas for Chelsea. That's a clever slip ball through to Hazard. Hazard finds Moses. A little bit of momentum now for Chelsea. Moses deflected shot and just about clutched by Hugo Lloris. Good move by Chelsea with pace and purpose, and in the end Moses went for goal, and Lloris prevented him from scoring.
Yeah, he does well in the end, Davis, but what a lovely little ball by Fabregas, splitting Dyer and Son on the halfway line. Hazard's away. Davis has to come in to track the run of Willian initially, and then he gets out, doesn't he, and covers Moses. Good defending, but good play from Chelsea also.
I would say that Spurs have been the better side overall, but Lloris has made a couple of saves, and Caballero hasn't had to do anything really.
Absolutely, yeah. Chelsea are more threatening on the counter-attack, aren't they? That's for sure. And already Lloris has been called into action, and this is what Spurs have got to be careful of today, is that Chelsea counter-attack, as the game seems to have set up that way.
It's a free kick to Chelsea in the centre of the field, taken by Fabregas, who scored a couple of goals in London derbies against Tottenham for Arsenal, and hasn't scored against them for Chelsea. Fabregas is one short of 50 Premier League goals. Here's Victor Moses, right hand side, useful looking cross, and it's put in the net. Alvaro Morata got there ahead of Lloris, got his head to it, and has flicked his header into the corner. Not good goalkeeping by Lloris, who wasn't decisive, and Morata who's back in the side, has given Chelsea the lead, 30 seconds short of half an hour. It's Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Well, that's certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons. It's Rudiger again breaking through the middle of the pitch from centre half. Willian draws Ben Davies again into the middle of the pitch. It gets fed out to Moses. Davies this time can't get out there quickly enough. But what a header that is. Morata, Lloris in no man's land. But his prowess is in the air, Morata. Chelsea lead 1-0.
Yeah, a classic goal from a centre forward after a goalkeeper lost sight of the ball. And Chelsea have the lead. Alvaro Morata was on target against Leicester City as they reached the semi-finals of the FA Cup with that 2-1 win at the King Power Stadium. It's his first goal in the Premier League since Boxing Day at Brighton, and it's given Chelsea the lead against Tottenham. And as we were saying, possession is all very well, but unless you create chances, you're not going to score. And Chelsea have created 3, and third time lucky it's gone in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to give credit to Rudiger. Steps out, makes the extra man in midfield. Willian makes a diagonal run right to left, which attracts Ben Davies across the pitch. Rudiger then goes out one wider of him to Moses, who's in acres. Davies can't get out there to stop the cross. It's a wonderful cross, but Lloris, no man's land. Was he flapping at the ball? It's got to do better. But Morata, as we said, terrific in the air, and he wasn't going to miss soon as Lloris missed the ball.
Well, it's his 14th goal of the season in all competitions, but as we said, he hasn't been on target in the Premier League for a long time. It's his first goal of the new calendar year. It could be a huge one because, as we said, if Chelsea win, then the gap is down to 2 points with Tottenham Hotspur. And here's a chance at the other end, and Caballero does really well as Ericsson tries to get through. Caballero's got a whack on the ear, and Ericsson is just bending down to make sure he's okay. It came out of nothing. It was a clever flick by Dele Alli, and Ericsson read it, and Caballero did really well to get there first and just hoof the ball away. And as he did, Ericsson followed through, and his elbow was caught him right on the ear. Painful one, but he'll be okay. But it was good goalkeeping.
Terrific goalkeeping. Good play again from Spurs. That interplay around the edge of the box. It's Dembele. Really, that's at the heart of it, threading those little balls in. It was Lamela round the corner, a little setback, Dele Alli into the run of Ericsson, and he's one-on-one, but Caballero flies off his line. Fantastic keeping.
He's still on the deck. It's only his second Premier League appearance of the season, Willy Caballero. He kept a clean sheet in the last one in a big win against Brighton in January, and there's a couple of Chelsea medical staff just crouching over him at the moment. I think he's going to be okay. It was just a painful bang on the ear, really. Well, I just wonder whether Chelsea could be on the way to yet another home win against Tottenham Hotspur. It is a bizarre statistics, really, when you consider, that Tottenham have been a very good side for the last 10 years or so, and yet they just cannot win here. It's bizarre. But Morata's goal threatens to extend that winless run to 26 games.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And if Spurs are going to do it now, they've got to come from behind and score 2 goals here, which will be tough for any club, but to come to Stamford Bridge and score 2.
Long ball by Lloris, controlled by Son, but in an offside position, which was a shame because he controlled it absolutely beautifully, but wasn't able to profit because the flag went up very quickly on this near side. There are some who call me Tim, says that cross from Moses was excellent. Morata was in the perfect position to head that, thanks to the misjudgment of Lloris. I think it is certainly something that Lloris will not be at all happy with. As you said, he got caught in no man's land, didn't he? And
absolutely.
Morata,
that tweet sums it up perfectly. It was a wonderful cross, but Lloris has to do better.
Here's Jan Vertonghen for Tottenham Hotspur. 11 minutes to go to half-time at Stamford Bridge, which must feel like a graveyard for them. It's been such a long time. Gary Lineker, I think it was David Howell, scored the other goal. They won 2-1, 1990. It must have been a long time ago. Just prior to the 1990 World Cup, where, of course, Lineker helped England reach the semi-finals, their best position in that tournament since 1966. Here's Eric Dyer, one of the current breed of England players, finding Davinson Sanchez, whose Dutch team, of course, failed to qualify. Rudiger scrapes it away. Alonso knocks it forward. Good challenge by Sanchez on Morata. Awkward for Christensen. It's not a very good header. It'll come out to Eric Lamela, wide on the right-hand side for Tottenham Hotspur, looking to get themselves level before half-time, but Chelsea clear, and the ball is played infield by Hazard. Chelsea want a free kick with Morata going down under pressure from Vertonghen. They're not going to get one, and Ben Davies has it for Spurs far side. Plays it infield to Dyer, who rolls it back to Davinson Sanchez. And Vertonghen has it now and up towards Trippier. Trippier just looking to get it forward, and instead he checks back and finds Eriksen. Spurs plenty of possession at the moment, but they're not going anywhere with it so far. Davies, the former Swansea left back who helped Wales reach the semi-finals of the Euros, plays a misplaced pass, and Hazard tries to seize upon it. Trippier puts the ball out of play right in front of Antonio Conte in his technical area, wearing a highly polished pair of black shoes, as the ball is thrown back to Antonio Rudiger. Switches it to the far side. Victor Moses controls it well, plays a diagonal ball in towards Morata, who does well to get away from Sanchez. Morata trying to clip it over towards Moses, who continued his run. Dembele did the defending. The clearance was by Eriksen, not a very good one. Alonso tries to get forward, but Eriksen atones for his earlier error with a challenge which wins the ball back for Tottenham Hotspur, who have it now with Moussa Dembele in centre midfield, who plays a lovely ball out towards Davies if he can keep it in, but he can't. And a big cheer from the Chelsea fans, ironically, as the ball rolls out of play.
It's a really good game at the moment. I'm intrigued by watching two different styles here. Spurs very much possession based and waiting for that opening, but when it breaks down, you feel that Chelsea are a real threat on that counter attack and may catch Tottenham again.
This is an interesting one. Dean Henderson, he says Chelsea scoring bad news for England. He fears that Kane will be rushed back, risking another injury. We'll talk about that in a minute. Kane is still on the bench, of course. Here's Kante for Chelsea. Is there a danger perhaps that Pochettino will feel that Kane needs to come on? Well, at the moment Tottenham are coming forward with Eriksen, who shapes to shoot, but in the end finds Davies. Davies switches it near side. Trippier finds Dyer. Once again, Tottenham have got plenty of possession, but they're not really going anywhere with it, and they still haven't carved out a genuine opportunity yet. Now, is that going to be a corner or a goal kick? Ali and Moses tussling, and I think it's going to be a goal kick to Chelsea. Back to that point about Harry Kane, is there a danger that he might be, in desperation, rushed back, and it wouldn't be a good idea?
Well, that's a really good tweet from Dean, actually.
Yeah.
You'd have to say that if Pochettino feels that he's fit, that's the reason he's on the bench. I'm pretty sure there would be no reason or need to put him on there if he wasn't 100% fit or hadn't declared himself 100% fit. But I guess you never know until you're out there in a really pressurised game how you're feeling. You can train as much as you want. It's not the same as match time.
I think. Sorry, go on.
That's it. I was just going to. That's all, John.
What I would say is that I think a defeat would be more damaging to Chelsea than Tottenham.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you do have to be careful with players. On the other hand, you can't expect a club manager to be worrying about England, can you, particularly? It's not really what it's all about.
Not an Argentine one, anyway.
No, not one who was part of the team that lost to England in the 2002 World Cup. He was the player who fouled Michael Owen, wasn't he, for the Beckham penalty.
Yep.
Here's Eric Lamela. Nice ball across to Eriksen, but again Tottenham aren't making any headway. Eriksen does shoot though, and Caballero makes his first save of the afternoon, and Slightly awkward one for him. It was rising off the boot of the Danish international with his right foot. Caballero just patting it down and then falling on the ball before Son could get to it. That's Tottenham's first effort on target.
Some strike though, wasn't it? I mean, anywhere other than straight down the throat of Caballero, and that would have given him a lot of problems. It was a real terrific strike.
Actually, Chukwuka Chidozie points out, and I apologise, is Davinson Sanchez a Colombian player or a Dutch player? You're right, he's Colombian. I got confused. I didn't get confused. He used to play for Ajax, so I've called him Dutch. Apologies to all Colombians, and particularly to Davinson Sanchez, former Ajax player, but a Colombian, of course, not a Dutchman. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Alvaro Morata with a header on the half-hour after a brilliant cross by Victor Moses, but a less than brilliant attempt to cut it out by Hugo Lloris. And at the moment, the gap between these two sides would be 2 points. Chelsea will go to 59 if they win, which would be 8 points above Arsenal. Here's Son Heung-min, though. They've got time, Spurs, to try and get themselves back into this game. Here's Moussa Dembele. And Eriksson on the edge of the box. It's scrambled away towards Willian, who's had a fairly quiet game so far. He's been a scourge of Chelsea in the past. Here's Moses rolling it back to Azpilicueta. And Moses again clips it forward. Morata's done well. He's had a good game, Morata, aside from the goal, hasn't he? He's won most of his headers. He's been a good target for them, and he's just played a lovely ball square to Fabregas, who's got Alonso on the overlap. Alonso tries to play a first-time pass, then goes for goal. Lloris parries, and it's scrambled away. Well, Morata just beaten to the punch there by Vertonghen after a save from Lloris to deny Alonso. Chelsea not far away there from 2-0.
Well, again, it's Chelsea on the counter, isn't it? They look so dangerous. And yes, Lloris was at fault for Chelsea's goal, but on the flip side of that, he's kept them in it with 3 fine saves at different points of this first half, and in the end, that's a terrific strike, isn't it, from Alonso? But he gets down, big hand, and then Vertonghen reads the danger and gets there just in front of Morata to clear the danger. But Tottenham have got to be careful. They're committing bodies forward here, and they keep getting caught.
Well, they've won a throw-in on the far side with Ben Davies tangling with Victor Moses. Tottenham's away record, not just against Chelsea, but against all of the top 6 teams, or the big 6 teams, if you want to call them that, is poor. They've not won in 11, drawn 5 and lost 6. Only 1 win in 19 against what they hope would be their peers. That was against Manchester City in February 2016, so it's over 2 years since they won away against any of what you'd call their rivals.
Yeah, so perhaps we're a little bit over expectant then in terms of that, because you've just read out, it's been very scratchy against those top sides. It just shows you how well they've done against all the other sides in the division to maintain that 4th spot that they're in.
Does that perhaps tell you that maybe Tottenham don't quite yet belong in that sort of company? Well, I mean, you'd think they would, because they've played some great football. They've been very entertaining, but as we mentioned, they haven't won any trophies, and their record against the other big 6 teams isn't great, but away from home, we should say. Here's Hazard finding Alonso into the Chelsea box, tries to square it. Tottenham clear, it comes out to Kante, who thumps it from 20 yards, and it hits Sanchez, and Tottenham get it away. But Spurs, particularly when Chelsea are attacking down the left-hand side, look very open.
Well, it's these wide areas. It's Moses down the right for Chelsea, and Alonso down this left-hand side, and they're in acres. The play breaks up, and they're in absolute acres. And you've got to think that it's because Davis and Trippier are playing too advanced when Tottenham don't have the ball. So therefore, when Chelsea have got it, they're just Alonso and Moses are getting in as they wish.
Here's Lamela. Misplaced pass, fielded and delivered by Christensen. Again, Morata plays a lovely ball in field. Fabregas isn't quite able to get there. That is one criticism that's been aimed particularly at Trippier, is that he doesn't always. He's great going forward, but defensively he loses sight of where he should be.
Absolutely,
at times.
like a little bit like Kyle Walker was, to be honest. But Alonso's been in so many times down this left-hand side.
Here's Lamela, square ball to Ericsson for Spurs. They've only got a minute left to try and fashion an equaliser. Ericsson shoots, cannons back off his own player. Lamela comes back to Trippier. Ericsson back to Kieran Trippier. Lovely little dink ball through to Son. Chelsea have still managed to keep Tottenham at bay. They've defended very well. Here's Ben Davies, Moussa Dembele. I don't think there'll be a massive amount of stoppage time. Here's Ericsson finding Dyer. Dyer decides to cross. It's overhit. It's a poor one. Dele Alli will try with all his might to keep the ball alive far side, which he did, but couldn't keep it in play. But then Moses has given it away and Davies has it. And we're into 2 minutes of stoppage time as Ericsson shoots. Oh, what a goal! Christian Eriksen from absolutely nothing has lashed the ball unstoppably with his right foot into the net. Caballero, no chance. And in stoppage time at the end of the first half, Tottenham Hotspur have got themselves level. A wonder goal from Christian Eriksen. It's Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Wow. What a strike that is. Victor Moses gives the ball away in this right-hand corner when he doesn't need to. But that is an unbelievable strike, about 26, 27 yards. And Caballero, I mean, it's not even in the corner really, but the dip, the power, the pace on it. He just looks and it's over and it's past him. It's in off the underside of the bar. Victor Moses at fault, yes, but it's still an awful lot for Eriksen to do. He's already had one pot shot.
Here come Chelsea at the other end with Eden Hazard. Hazard's got Morata for company, still has it, but he's been driven away from goal at the moment. Now he's found Alonso, who can't do what Eriksen did at the other end. Left foot shot, but he's put it wide. Wow, an amazing stoppage time period. 2 minutes added on. We've seen a goal for Tottenham to equalise and almost a goal for Chelsea to put them back in front.
Unbelievable stuff here at Stamford Bridge. Getting back to that strike. He wins the ball back, Moses, and then he's just got to get rid of it. Time's up for the first half. He gives it to Eriksen, who's already had one pot shot, as we said. And the top spin and dip and power and pace on that ball just takes it past Caballero, who doesn't move. He's rooted to the spot. And you'll have to ask him why he didn't. Yeah. Because it doesn't look like it's in the corner. And then going the other way. Again, Chelsea. It's 2v2 at the back for Spurs. Yeah. You've got to ask. Lamela, as good as he is going forward, has got to do some defensive duty to help out Trippier.
Well, we told you, we predicted that it would be a cracking game. It really has been. It's been a wonderful game, and it's level at half-time. Alvaro Morata heading Chelsea in front after Hugo Lloris lost sight of a Victor Moses cross, but Chelsea with a fantastic strike by Christian Eriksen in the first minute of stoppage time at the end of the half has put it level. Half-time is Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football.